You find us here today in West Wickham at a mausoleum called the, I think it's Francis Dashwood Mausoleum. It's certainly the Dashwood Mausoleum. There's a haunted church behind the back of that with a cemetery, and below us there was a Hellfire Club. Nothing to do with Stranger Things, whether they got the idea from that. This is a historic site where things happened. There were sort of drinking games, etc. Those of the 18th century, sort of 1750, 1770, etc. Some famous names. If you're into your Disney, you'll know of Disney Springs, the Earl of Sandwich. The actual Earl of Sandwich was a member. So was Benjamin Franklin, one of the forefathers who signed the Declaration of Independence and was a forefather of the birth of the United States of America. Okay, I don't know what the light's going to be like all the way down here. You can see sort of, you get light in the distance and it gets dark around us. It's already getting cooler. Bit of condensation on that. So these are your world famous Hellfire Caves. And there was a notorious, or should we say infamous, Hellfire Club, not to be connected with Stranger Things, which has now got a Hellfire Club itself. But this goes back to the 1750s, the 1760s. A series of caves that goes down for around 400 metres into the ground. Now, I've often thought whether these are modern, but no, they were done centuries ago. There's one there. There's one over here. Some sort of, I don't want to say it's demonic, it's more of a clown if anything. And what I will turn around and say, looking at that, if anyone remembers crop circles, look at the definition of these. It's very similar to what you would see in the shapes of a crop circle, yet as I said, this is 18th century, 1750s, 1760s, etc. It's certainly a chill. It's pretty safe down here. It's very cool though. I don't know whether it's the temperatures, obviously you don't get any light down there, everything's artificial. The walls have an element of damp about them. And I said the caves go down for a good 400 metres. Dashwood, he's one of the founding members, and you will see here as we get closer, one of the ever more significant members, which will mean a lot more to those of you who reside in the United States. That there is Benjamin Franklin. His family resided in this area around Northamptonshire, which is about 20-30 miles further north than here. His father, Josiah Franklin, he was a soap stroke candle maker, and his son there, Benjamin Franklin, to the right, obviously we know his history. He set sail years ago, ended up being one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, signed the Declaration of Independence. The temperature's dropping constantly, but that is predominantly because we're going lower and lower and deeper underground. As we can see from here, there's moisture on the surface. This is predominantly chalk, bit of clay in there as well possibly. Oh, this place is going forever. if you like eerie footsteps, I dare say this is doing the trick for you. Now I believe that is supposed to be Suki, lady in a white dress, although that's certainly seen better days. If she showed up, would I be scared? No, probably not. We do have famous TV shows that have come down. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted places in the United Kingdom, with all its history. I think back in the day, with what went on, people were heavily drinking and consuming other items, and I think some succumbed to that down here, and that's more the notoriety of the club. I don't think there was anything more sinister. People have turned around and said about human sacrifices, etc. I'm not so sure about that, but there is a possibility. This is your river Styx, and they are your stalactites and stalagmites. You're saying tights come down, mites go up. See, before you would not have been able to cross this, but they built a bridge over the top to take you into what is here, the inner temple. Wow. This is where they would have had their meetings, gatherings, etc. You see all these little facial carvings, inscriptions on the wall. Some will be more modern than others, but there'll be some of these that will be in Latin. So I mean, some people might turn around and say, oh, that's just added for effect later on, but no, that is supposed to be centuries old. I mean, obviously I can see from here, physically, that there is different to that, and that is wet. You can see it's come right on my fingers. And you see it looks like it peels away, but again, this is a chalk clay, so with it being underground, maybe it's more that it's still wet, doesn't cure properly, so it is easy to describe on. But look at that, look, there is thousands and thousands of inscriptions over the centuries. You can see the dampness, it's glistening on the table here, almost like a frost. We're now currently 400 metres below the ground. This is the inner temple, the infamous Hellfire Club and the Hellfire Caves in West Wicket. You can see more defined the incline that I've had to come down, which has gone down a good 50-60 metres to get to a different level. There's Sir Francis Dashwood. I don't think he was. No, there's another guy, something Montague, who was the Earl of Sandwich, which has got the famous Disney orientations. I don't know whether they actually got that from here or not, but there you go.
We are now about 300 feet down beneath the church and mausoleum.
This is your church and mausoleum, which we are directly underneath. More information about Benjamin Franklin.
and to relieve the well-defined from the infliction of insurance.
As you can imagine, with the depth of these caves, they were used during the Second World War to keep people safe from the likes of the Blitz, although it never really got as far out as here. But as a precaution, people were able to frequent the area. There we go. We have what looks like a inscribed picture of the devil. I mean, look at the size of this place. This is all underground and all dug out before you had machinery. You probably find that there are bats that reside in here. One thing I will say for anyone visiting here, the ground is covered with shingle, I suppose you say gravel, so it's not wet underfoot, at least not at this point. The roof level, I'm actually crouching down at the moment, the roof level is getting a bit lower, but as you can see I've not as yet had to take out the torch. And for safety purposes they've obviously put lighting by stairs. Okay, let's start this intrepid climb to the top of this massive hill to find a mausoleum and a church that is believed to be haunted. It's a mixture of roots and steps that's making the climb a little bit easier. Currently West Wickham, High Wycombe behind us, and proximity of Aylesbury further afield. Obviously the mausoleum is locked for the purposes of security. Over the years a lot of the urns and ornaments in there have been either destroyed or stolen, which is typically sad. And this is the Dashwood Mausoleum. What a beautiful place, heavily influenced by flint and stone. Really splendid. And if I turn round, let's look at this view. There we go, West Wickham, and in the distance you can see High Wycombe, and that is the climb. I've made my way up somewhere in the region of maybe 600-700 meters straight up. An old, what looks to be possibly abandoned manor house. If I can focus in on that, whether it is or not I'm not sure. Certainly gives the feeling, the vibes that it is. And if it is, I wonder if it's accessible. Something for you urbexers to think about. Magnificent. I've seen some spectacular mausoleums, your likes of your London cemeteries, Highgate. That was incredible, but this is huge. I'm not sure whether it's all dedicated to one family. If it was, they were extremely wealthy. I believe the guy who had something to do with the building of this had an unfortunate name of John Bastard, or Bastard, but there you go. So when the twilight and evening hours get here, light will be projected onto it, so I bet that is absolutely spectacular. We're here during the daytime, so we're not going to see that. Just look at that. That is magnificent. Really, really spooky vibes given off by that. Some people find these places really eerie. I don't specifically believe the dead are out to get you, and so I actually find it quite peaceful. I said they all would have had their stories. I mean, the tragedy of that, I would say that all this is family orientated. Hawkins is very similar to a maiden name of my side of the family, was Hawker, but obviously not relative at all. The church itself, I believe it's 14th century originally, probably add-ons the likes of your gold ball at the top there, and that area up there, I don't believe you can get up there now currently. If you ever can, there's a viewing platform up there, and it's believed you can see on a clear day, which it's not today, the as far as the West End of London, which is probably about 40 to 45 miles from here. It's a mix of medieval and neoclassical in its style of architecture. I'm guessing the question that will come from many while I walk around these sort of areas is this specifically haunted? There's tales of monks, etc. There's the lady in the white dress, but that's predominantly below us with the Hellfire Caves. If they're going to haunt, they're going to hang around down there. I don't actually know whether that church is in service. I bet it's got a few stories to tell. Certainly you can see in the past it would have had an element of stained glass windows, but not so much round this side. Maybe this is an older part of the church itself. You can see it would have had vine creepers, etc. And again, the heavy influence of flint, which I found in castles, etc. The whole area just seems to have it. And there is the back side, not the back side of water, but the back side of the mausoleum, which we climbed the hill to get to here. Of course, I have to find the spooky parts, and there's always a wooded section at the back of a graveyard. And with this, we have a hilltop area, and the problem you get with graves is that as the land shifts, so does what is beneath it. I don't know if you've seen horror movies, the likes of your Poltergeist, etc., where you've had hills, landsides, etc. It would not surprise me if there's bodies further around this area here as the land is shifted and they've moved downhill. And yeah, I will see you guys in the movies. Take care, bye for now. Look at that. I believe that is, I know it's hard to get into focus, it's quite distant, that is, I believe, either a Hurricane or a Spitfire. Certainly here a Merlin engine, so I believe it's a Spitfire.